Hey everybody, I am super excited to be here today. It is Sunday, March 20th, and it is the first Sunday after Purim, and we have 4 weeks from now till Passover. And this is an incredible opportunity for us to rise together and to overcome some of the very common things that every single person who has lost weight successfully in this program has had to face and overcome. And as somebody who's done the program for a long time and had to maintain the weight loss for a long time, I do have some hacks and tips and things that have really helped me come up against some of these very common problems, like eating at night, like feeling like I can't get back up after I've had a setback, or feeling like that means I'll never really get to my goal because I keep having setbacks. Handling our emotions, like really emotional management, dealing with stress, dealing with the work-life balance, and holding space for things to be uncomfortable. And I'd like to take a lot of these very minute details that we spoke about here and put them into one group for right now. And that's the skill of being able to be uncomfortable and keep going. Can you agree that if you knew how to be uncomfortable, but not fail, not give up, not quit, that would really speed up the process? That's a lot of what's at the core of stress eating, emotional eating, nighttime eating, work-life balance eating, right? Okay, I'm getting some yeses here. Anybody else agree? If you disagree, like share. Like if you could just handle being uncomfortable better, like everything else would improve. Yes, yes, okay. Are we all buying into this? This is true. If this isn't true for you, it's totally okay. If you don't want to say it's not true for you in the chat, like feel free to direct message me. There's room for all opinions here. But if you believe that if you can handle being uncomfortable better, you will be more successful losing weight, managing your emotions, and seeing success.
Perfectly stated. Being comfortable in the uncomfortable is a very good life mission.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about this today, and I'm going to let you guys share, but I want to share one tool to get started. And this is this is a real thing. All I can tell you is it's scientifically proven, it's scientifically backed, and it really will, if you're willing to practice it, have a huge impact on your ability to be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, which means when you've overeaten, being able to sit with that for a minute and then not spiral. It means when you've had a really hard night, being able to sit with it for a minute and not just grab a snack. It means when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed by your life, not just escaping into food, and it's building that muscle. So are we all in to learn something that's going to help us build that muscle? It'll only take 2 minutes. Can we give 2 minutes? Right, number 2, if you will give me your full attention and try something new for 2 minutes. Write the number 2. Okay, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Amazing, amazing. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a very simple breathing exercise. Don't turn off, don't go run away. You promised me a 2 that you were in for 2 minutes. So I'm gonna keep this to 2 minutes. We're gonna do a breathing exercise, okay? You're gonna inhale from your left nostril, holding your right one closed. I'm gonna explain it first, okay? Then you're gonna close both nostrils, holding the air in. And then you're gonna exhale from the opposite side. So you're gonna inhale one side, close both, exhale the other side. You're gonna inhale from that second side, close it again, exhale from the other side. So let's practice once together. We're gonna inhale. Now you guys practice that for a second while I explain just a little bit, give it a little weight, okay? Practice it. This, if you have a watch, test me. It will lower your blood pressure. It will lower your stress. It will change your entire body chemistry and de-stress you no matter what outside circumstances are happening. So that itself would be valuable, okay? What we're gonna add to it is we're gonna to-be mindset this, and we're gonna remember that mindset matters, intention matters. So when we inhale, we're gonna take as big an inhale as we can through that nose. And when we close our nose, we're gonna repeat to ourselves, it is safe to be this full. Like really try to inhale till it feels almost uncomfortably full of air. And then when you exhale, I want you to hold it at the bottom before you inhale again and repeat in your head, it is safe to be this empty. We're gonna try that one time together, okay? And you're gonna say it in your head. I'll say it out loud for you, but then obviously I'm gonna exhale. So it is safe to be this full. It is safe to be this empty. It is safe to be this full. It is safe to be this empty. Obviously, you want to say it in your head. What this does is it teaches our brain to associate feeling okay when we're really full. And for a lot of people, you've heard me and Ayala talk before about opening that second stomach. You've overeaten and then you feel like you're going to spiral. I might as well keep going. You've had a setback. You wake up feeling bloated. Maybe you've had even too many vegetables and you don't feel good. And you have your period and you feel bloated. Any physical, emotional discomfort, you feel too full. This creates in your brain, the more you practice it, not in one try, ability to feel more safe. When you do the empty part, what about the days that you're hungry? What about the days that you're overworking? What about the days that you literally feel empty? Okay, knowing that another breath is coming and that it's safe, it's okay. Nothing horrible is going to happen, even though in this moment you do feel empty. So who is willing to give this 2 minutes? Yeah, I know what it's called. It's great, right? It's a great one. Rona Leigh, I'm glad you know it, that what the technical term is for this breathing technique. So we're going to do this for 2 minutes. It is now 15 after 8. We're going to do this 16 after 8. We'll do this right now till 18 after 8. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Everyone together. Congratulations, everybody. You just did that for 2 minutes. My heart rate seriously went down during that exercise. So I know that it worked for me. And I'd love to open up the floor for a second before we talk about postpartum and very practical things and ask you how that was for you. So if you had an emotional reaction, if you thought it was really curious, interesting, we'd love to hear. So feel free to raise your hand using your reactions button on your Zoom, or ask to unmute, just raise your hand like this or write in the chat. How was this for you? Did you see value in this? Did you see yourself practicing this? Definitely more relaxed. Relaxing and pleasant, soothing. Now you're falling asleep. What about you guys? How did you find it? I saw you guys, you really showed up, you did the work, you gave it your 2 minutes. There is no wrong answer. Could have been a little triggering. Maybe it was something else for you. What was it for you? Be more focused in the moment. Excellent. Okay. So I want to focus now in on letting you guys have a chance to talk together about what we want going forward between Purim and Passover. I just gave you one small tool that if you would do every single day, you would do twice a day. It would start to actually help you move your mindset faster to overcome setbacks. So how could you use this tool? So something that's been coming up a lot that I've been hearing from you guys is I feel like I've really made progress in eating healthy and living healthy, but where I'm struggling is in fear of making a measurable goal. And I think this goes into what some of you guys were saying about fear of failure. Who here feels like you are continually improving your health, being in our community, being in our group, but you're not really seeing the weight loss you want, and that feels like a failure for you? Okay, nobody who showed up on this call is feeling that. Amazing.
Judith raised her hand. She was
Oh,
honest.
Judith raised her hand. Me.
10 points for you for your honesty. Okay,
now here we're going. Now we got a lot more people in here. Me. More frustration than failure. Okay. I'm just saying what I've been hearing from you guys. You think it's slow and steady wins the race. Okay. So I want to make a differentiation for you guys tonight that was made for me in another area of life. And I was like, oh, wow. Yes. I see how this is a to-be mindset thing. And I really felt moved to share it with you guys. There's two different kinds of growth. There's outcome and there's continual growth. Outcome is, I would like to lose 2 pounds this week. I would like to lose 7 pounds by Passover over the next 4 weeks. That's an outcome goal. A continual growth goal doesn't have a date. It's, I want to be healthier, but the steps you're going to take do have a very concrete goal. That means to me, I'm going to drink 4 liters of water a day. That means to me, I'm going to work out 30 minutes a day. That means to me, I'm going to eat veggies most forever. It's a very different kind of goal than an outcome goal. Who is struggling in having an outcome goal, but you feel like you're doing really well on ongoing continuous growth goals? Okay, great. So I'd love to hear from somebody who's willing to share for a minute what I make this differentiation, right? An outcome goal versus a continuing growth goal. Like, is a light bulb going off for you? Like, yes, I'm terrified of outcome goals, but that's what I want. I'm not getting outcomes that I want, but I am actually getting the goals I'm going for. I am getting healthier and I'm acting like I'm getting healthier. Meryl Jacobs, okay. Odds on target, healthier overall, better choices than planning meals, but just maintaining, not consistent with tracking and drinking. Okay, Meryl, are you open to talking? Are you open to sharing?
Yeah, I could talk, but I have suitcases behind me, so it's a bit of a mess. So,
Okay, I don't think we mind the mess, but if you feel more comfortable with your video off, then we appreciate you and however you show up, but we don't mind the mess. You know, we're all keeping it real here. Is it okay if I ask you a question on your?
sure.
Okay, so do you feel much more comfortable with like over time general growth goals, things that don't have an end date, right? Being healthy versus actually setting yourself an outcome goal and saying, I actually really do want to lose 5 pounds by this date.
I think overall, I'm pretty okay knowing that I'm making better choices, much more with fiber-filled carbs. We had a brie this morning. I didn't touch the quiches. I just went for the salads. Still did some nashing in the day with nuts and all the pizzuchim that guests brought us for Shabbat. And I think overall I'm okay. I mean, I'd obviously like to lose more, but I'm okay knowing that I'm making much healthier choices. There are more fruits and vegetables and fiber-filled carbs in our household. Dinner was lentil soup after a very big lunch with salad and chickpeas and egg salad and tahina, which kept me totally full. Like I said, gnashing a little bit on the nuts, but not on the real pure junk. And I feel like when I got mishlochei manot, not much, because at this point I don't have little kids in the house. My kids are all out and, Baruch Hashem, married. But when I did get 1 or 2 of these mishlochei manot with the taffies and the lollipops, I felt like, why are these things still out there on the shelves? So I feel like it's not even in my mindset to think about, those things that I probably would have noshed on, years ago.
Okay, great. So this is a perfect example of continuing goals, okay? And I want you to understand, one is not better than the other. I personally relate much more to continuing goals. I like continuing growth goals. Outcome goals give me anxiety. Outcome goals give me anxiety, but I realized why they give me anxiety. And I want to help you, because if you avoid an outcome goal because they give you anxiety, I want to help you work through that today so that you can have both outcome goals that you want and also value your continuing growth goals. Yoni, I wanted to.
I took my hand down because I'm going to let you finish the thought process and then give my opinion on outcome goals after that then.
Sure. Okay, great. So for me, outcome goals create a lot of anxiety in every area of life. I feel like the second I think of the outcome goal, I want to lose 5 pounds by this date. It really freaks me out. I feel like I make choices that are depriving myself. I feel like I get very controlling and anxious and not in a to-be attitude around my choices. And I do the same thing when it comes to money. I do the same thing when it comes to other things. I don't make smart long-term decisions when I have an outcome goal. So I brought this to my coach in a different area and I said, help me with this. I see the value of having an outcome goal. What can I do about this? What should I do about my anxiety? He said to me, you need a smaller goal in a smaller time frame. And then you need to put down just 3 things that you think would help you to achieve that specific goal in that specific time frame that don't stress you out. Okay, let's put an example on this. Instead of saying, I want to lose 7 pounds by Passover, be like, I would like to lose 1 pound this week. To do that, I am willing to not eat nuts as my snack at all, just for this week. I am willing to make sure I fill up all my bottles of water in the morning, and I am willing to make sure that I track by the end of the day. Those are 3 things. None of that gives me anxiety. And I truly believe that those 3 things will get me closer to losing 1 pound this week. Now that gives me anxiety, and that's an outcome goal. What really turned the needle, like, or flipped the switch, whatever you want to call it, in my head when he went through that process for me, and I wanted to share it with you guys, was that fear of failure comes when we don't have confidence and we're making the goals too big, too complicated. Next week, I can see how I did. Did I lose that pound? Did I do these 3 things? And he said the key is also to look over, to write it on an index card even, and to just reread that index card over and over again throughout the day. I want to lose 1 pound this week. I am going to skip nuts as my snack. I am going to fill up my water bottles in the morning, and I am going to track at the end of the day. If I would read that card 5 times a day and just keep it with me in my pocket, and every time I take a bunny break, I would read that card, give myself a high five, and walk out of the bathroom, I have no doubt I would lose 1 pound this week because it would be in my head and it wouldn't be stressing me out. So I'm just curious if this gave you guys any more clarity on maybe why you, like me, might be scared around outcome goals and how you can make them a little less stressful.
I definitely think putting it down on an index card and writing my goals out for me will be helpful.
Okay, great. 1 pound a week, concrete steps to make this happen. Amazing. Yoni, you wanted to share something on this.
So a few people have written something about, I'm good about outcome goals, but not with the setting a date. That is what an outcome goal is, meaning it is setting a defining date. So setting something is a goal, but it's not necessarily an outcome goal. The 2 pieces that are connecting an outcome goal is by a specific time. I'm going to say it differently. There are certain things that trigger me. I'm someone who's recovering with food issues and having been a bulimic when I was younger. Things like a diet bet, things like all these things that have specific timeframes. Again, I'm not going to judge for anyone else. I am so against them because they trigger things that could bring up things that I am recovering from. So I think when you say benchmarks, I want to achieve X. I want to achieve X. The second I'm putting a time frame on, if it is not work related or life death related, I think that sometimes the added pressure can create the food anxiety that goes against what you're trying to achieve. When I have a dress to fit in for a wedding, buy a dress that fits. Buy a dress that fits, that's going to make you feel good in it. Not buy a dress that I got to not eat for the next X amount of time, create unhealthy habits I then have to break through to get back to it. Just we went back to habits. If you're creating habits that you're going to have to break just to win. And there is no win when you're going to break yourself down after that event ends. If you are losing weight to get to Pesach to look better by the time you see everyone, lose that attitude. It is so dangerous over time. And I'm saying this as someone who sat in eating disorders. It is so dangerous to put yourself in that mentality. If you look at a goal, and this is where I say mindset, change the terminology to benchmark or milestone. I want to get to here. And you know what? Even this I'm going to have a goal after that. And it's really a benchmark. And that's why I'm saying that. The goal is a healthy lifestyle that doesn't feel stressful. That should be the singular goal when you're talking about all of this. Not a number, not a size, not the scale, not a dress. Healthy eating that I almost don't even think about because it is comes such second nature. The second, there are pinpointed things, like I just mentioned, that become your goal. The second you step off of that moment, that failure word starts coming up again. I said to someone this week, be okay with a safe space. And when I say space, I said it about myself. I have whatever X weight is, 3 pounds up, 3 pounds down. All of that is natural, period, not period, health, stress, life. That's my safe space, not one thing on a scale. If I see I'm getting out of hand and stuff like that, okay, I need to rein it in. I need to see where I'm really not paying attention to the 2 bunnies. But that's my safe space. The second I stopped looking at a singular weight, it wasn't scary anymore. I didn't mean to like take up so much time, but that this is one thing I feel so strongly about. When people get stuck on a number or a size, it can send you spiraling much quicker. And it's the same thing as a snack. When people say,
I called on you because I knew that this is your story and I wanted you to have the platform to say it, because I know there's been a lot of talk about the diet bed. And again, we're not judging Alana. We're not anti her and her. And this, again, people without lung issues, I'm in the yoni territory. I feel the same way. Again, I had a history of binge eating. I never was classified with an eating disorder. I don't consider myself as I had disordered eating. And that's why I've been very anti-outcome goals for myself throughout the process. But all of that being said, and especially other people's outcome goals, and I want you guys to differentiate here. There's a difference between somebody else's outcome goal for you and your benchmark for yourself. I really do want to see the scale go down this week. I am doing really well on my continuing goals checklist. But those continuing goals checklists can be, as Alana would say, eating healthy in weight gain, eating healthy in weight maintenance. They might not be eating healthy in weight loss. And the only way to really be honest with, am I eating healthy in weight loss? Because you could very well be living in that amazing safe space and being so healthy, and you should be. And sometimes the scale's going up because you are putting on muscle. And guys, if you don't put on muscle, when you lose the weight, you're not gonna like the body that's there. Okay, putting on muscle and eating enough to put on muscle is incredibly important to actually like the body that you see on the outside when the weight does change. But benchmarks, small outcome goals that do not create anxiety. How do you know it's the right one? Because it doesn't create anxiety. Maybe it's a half a pound. Maybe it's a third of a pound. Maybe it's, I'm going to see a net new number, but it has to be something measurable. And this is where we get the invitation to confront an old trigger and move past it. Whether it's stress related or nighttime eating related or whatever it is for you, you get to say, just for the next 48 hours, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to be dinner and done. Just for the next 48 hours. And I'm going to see if that makes a measurable difference. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear some feedback, and I'd love to help you. If you have an outcome goal, start to maybe make it small enough that it's not going to create anxiety. If you want some actual help in coaching through your outcome goals, exactly, scale is a tool and not the be all end all. Okay, any feedback? Anybody want help? Raise your hand on working on a benchmark and helping to make it small enough that you're going to see progress, and write down 3 steps on an index card so that you start repeating to them multiple times in the day, and then you give yourself a high five. And you have to make them small enough that they don't create anxiety. This is on you. Yeah, totally not just you who's anxious about outcome goals.
so I'll tell you, I wanted to share with other people who, there were a lot of people talking about binge eating this week. Really, many people are private about it, but a lot of people were talking about it when it came around perm time, which is natural. There's so much stuff around that's not normal. And one of my clients said to me, when you talked about like almost bite-sized pieces, pardon the term, but
yeah,
I will not do this till 11 a.m. I will not do this till 1 p.m. Like, it wasn't today. She wasn't even saying today. It was in such small increments of time that she said, and you know what? There were days that I say it for the next hour. And somehow when she challenged herself just for an hour at a time, the day was less scary. It wasn't like there's this whole day ahead of me that I know what I'm at. 1 hour. Whatever happens after that hour is that, but right now it's that 1 hour. And for 1 hour, I'm going to do X because I have this planned for the next amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Beautiful, beautiful. And also, that's where, guys, that breathing exercise at the beginning, do we see the connection here? Holding space, literally holding space in your body to be uncomfortable for that 1 hour. I'm already feeling the impulse to overeat. I'm feeling the impulse to have a snack. I'm gonna do the breathing exercise. I'm just gonna see how long can I actually hold. Can I hold it for 2 minutes? Can I tell myself I'm safe even though I'm feeling this discomfort in this moment for 2 minutes? Guys, we're at 38, and I'd love to just open up the floor and talk openly about.
I'm going to bring your attention to what Sabrina wrote, because I think it's so important. I thought it was just me that was so anxious about outcome goals. So glad it's not just you. Are so not alone.
So not alone. And someone brought in Rev Kanievsky, 5-minute increments. Yes, exactly. So you see, like, something that's from the Torah, like, it's so, this is truth, guys. How long can I be uncomfortable for so that I can have something better that I want? So when you let go of stress, you break down the goals. Even 2 pounds at a time can feel too much. I don't know. So many times 2 pounds at a time feels too much for me. I mean, if I'm being honest, there are days where I hit 5.
She said point. She said above 0.2.
Yeah, right. 0.2. And there are times where it's the next cup of water. I'm telling you, when I am too tired or I feel dehydrated, drinking a liter of water is overwhelming. It's, can I get this next cup in and start to drink again so that I can then drink more? When you're in a great place, it's easy. Right? We have to make the outcome goal that small, that there is no option of failure. Like, they just can't, it's this small, and it's really key that you pick 3 things that you're willing to do. If you're not willing to do them, then it's okay to just give yourself permission to not be interested in an outcome goal. And can we say that all right now? You have permission to not set an outcome goal at the end of this call. You have permission to say, I am actually only doing consistency goals right now. And I love it. And I'm celebrating that. So you know what? I can stop being frustrated that I'm not seeing a different outcome, because I'm actually achieving the benchmarks of health by these behaviors that I'm doing. Behaviors that could be healthy maintenance, that could be healthy weight gain, that could be healthy weight loss, but they are very healthy, and they are making you more healthy and well and vibrant every darn day. I think that drinking is reachable by drinking 1/3 of my goal every 3 hours. I will just deal with that in the morning, finish 1/3 of my goal. So then if your benchmark is going to be, I want to drink 1/3 of my liters by this time, then that's a goal. And you want to repeat that to yourself a few times a day and write it down on a note card. Give yourself a high five in the mirror every time you go to the bathroom, because we're buddies. We're in the bathroom all the time. So it's a perfect time to associate another habit with that. Anybody want to talk? I feel like I'm hearing my voice too much, even though we're doing a lot in the chat today, which is amazing. Anybody want to raise your hand? Anybody want to share? 2 liters by 2 p.m. Excellent. Pasha, yes. Seema, go for it.
I was just saying I do 3 by 3. No, first of all, I just want to thank you for the call. It's been like incredible. I'm sitting here nodding my head the whole time because.
Hold on, you got muted again. Hold on, you got muted again. There you go.
Sorry.
No problem.
I feel like what Yoni was saying really resonated. And I also have a hard time, like I actually was telling Rina, my coworker today, how I also, like, I know I have a goal number, but it's like, I in my head, I think at first I was like, oh, maybe by Pesach, I'll get to this goal number, like this weight. And then I realized that was stressing me out and I might not get there. And then I'm going to feel like, what? So my goal is not, because I didn't. So now I don't have that goal anymore. Like, I'm not going to, so I realized I do much better off like, okay, I'm going to get to this number and I'm going to eat healthy. And it's, when you're saying healthy, it's like, I learned from Ayala that there's like healthy for weight loss and healthy, eating healthy. Like you could eat healthy, but it's not for weight loss per se, so it just depends on what your goals are, because I ate healthy for a long time, but the scale kind of creeps up and I didn't catch it, Anyways, I just want to thank you.
My pleasure. And remember, that's healthy for weight gain. And that means if you've been doing all the other things on your list, you very well could have put on muscle and not just fat. Okay. And that's really important to remember that, especially, I know you're doing bar and a lot of workouts. you're actually may love how you look even better. Like I weigh about 15 pounds more than I did at my lowest, all in the same clothes. And like, if you look at the inches, you're talking about maybe 2-3 inch difference. Okay. And it's like, it's really like wrap your head around that once you're in this lifestyle and you're in consistency goal land, if you are having any anxiety about an outcome goal, first of all, you do not have to have one. Second of all, this is an opportunity to try a benchmark goal and to make it small enough that it doesn't cause anxiety. And do not be ashamed of how small that is. Okay. And then do not be ashamed of how miduyak and small the actions that you're actually willing to commit to. Why do I hate outcome goals so much? Because my perfectionist type A brain says I'm gonna do everything and I'm gonna do it all and I'm gonna do it all amazing and this is what I should do to lose weight and I need to track every bite, lick, and taste and I need to do this and I got to do it after every meal. Already, I don't want to do it. I really don't want to. Like I don't want to do it already. I've worked myself up into such a lather of anxiety. I could not want to do it less. If it's, I just want to lose 1 pound this week. The benchmark is I want to see a new number. I just want to see a new shift. It could be a new 0.1 this week. And I'm willing to skip my nut snack. Even when I want nuts as a snack, I'm going to do the breathing exercise. I'm going to hold space, be uncomfortable. I'm not going to have it just for this week. And I'm going to see, is that going to actually move me to my benchmark? Right. And this is why it has to be very personal. And I'm not a big fan of diet bets because I think 4% is very stressful. And also we're not using an index card. We're not being very concrete in what success looks like. But yeah, I'd love to see Meira, I'd love to hear from you if you can unmute.
Hi. I know I missed a big chunk of the meeting. I couldn't get there till now. So forgive me if I missed what the concept of the outcome goal is, but I think that first of all, just the words outcome goal make me anxious. Second of all, I'm somebody who needs deadlines to motivate me to do things. Sometimes it won't happen if I have too much time. So I'm kind of in between the, like Yoni's had me go back to square one, start with, go back to the water, go back. And then I have found that sometimes I'm doing really, really well once I'm doing the water. But then it's like I'm holding it together for so long sometimes that then I end up sabotaging. And maybe I need a deadline or a goal of some kind that's tangible. So I'm kind of in between figuring that out.
So everybody needs to have 2 different kinds of index cards. One, that's your consistency goals. These are things that are really important to me forever now. I want to be drinking water forever. I want to be continually improving and drinking water. This is how much water I want to drink forever. Good, I'm doing that. Like this is being healthy, right? This is living at my ideal happy place, right? These are, I want to exercise 3 times a week or 4 times, whatever it is, right? I want to continue to check in with the scale to make sure that I'm staying in a healthy place. This is, I'm doing personal development. I'm reading books. This is, I'm having fun. Maybe I'm laughing every day. These are things that like I need to be consistent with. And everybody is distracted and stressed. And if we don't have a note card with these things on it or a journal or something, we will all be distracted by life. And we're not going to have the level of quality of life that we want. An outcome goal is something where we do have to set a time. And we set a deadline and we say, I'm happy with these success goals. I'm happy with these continuing goals, these lifestyle goals. But I would like to see movement and outcome, a benchmark. I would like to really, and a benchmark goal doesn't have to be the scale. An benchmark goal can be, I want to be drinking 5 liters. I want to be drinking 3 liters. I'm committing to 2 cups of water before each meal. That would be a step. I'm committing to filling up 3 liters in the morning. That would be a step. I am committing to checking in with my coach or accountability buddy at night to let her know that I drank my water. That is how you set up a benchmark goal that doesn't have to be around the scale. Okay. But since we started out the call with asking people and people do want to see the scale go down, we have to be honest and we have to give people and equip you in a non-anxiety provoking way. How do I know my goal is too big? It's provoking anxiety. How do I know my action steps? are not realistic. They are provoking anxiety. Make them small enough till they don't do that. And then if you're not ready, it means you're not ready for an outcome goal at this time. And it's totally okay. Let yourself off the hook. Check back in next month. Check back in tomorrow. Check back in next week. Right? I think we want to start wrapping up in the next 2 minutes because we're about to hit 50. So I would love anybody last who wants to share. Beth, you look like maybe you wanted to share something. No? Anybody else have something else they want to share? Nope. Come on. Okay. Yoni, you did such an amazing, beautiful job illustrating the emotion behind this and how powerfully you feel about consistency goals. What are your consistency goals? Would you mind sharing with us today?
So consistency goals for me, I mean, if anybody follows what I post,
I know.
for me, they're like my safety net. Like I literally eat the same breakfast every day. And I started out saying the thing, well, I can't be bored.
Yeah.
I thought that was feeding into other issues. And what I realized was I can't be bored actually was leading me to binge on different foods because I had to change it up. And then I was putting too much of something in. And when I had my safety net of what my breakfast was every single day, somehow it was like, it was starting my day in a safe place. So I wake up, I have my lemon water is the first thing I do every day, no matter what, come hell or high water. That isn't the first drink I have. And then I fill up. My consistency had to go back into recheck myself. I know Meera said I have her checking it, but after being injured and being down for about 3 weeks, I had to go back to square one. I literally fill up my bottles. There are 6 bottles filled up every day. I put them next to my workspace and I watch them go down. And by doing that, I'm both reminded because I can't not see them. It keeps my water consistent because I know how much left. I literally have 1 bottle left next to me. That's what's left for the rest of the day. And I'm not telling everyone they have to drink 6 liters of water. That's just what I drink. But setting myself up for the success by knowing this is how much, rather than possibly losing track, or if I'm in the schwung of working and I forgot to get up and refill a bottle, here I've got it next to me. There is no excuse. If I'm leaving in the car, then 1 or 2 of them come with me. So water is like a non-negotiable. And I think that's a word we've used in other calls. When we talk about consistency, what are you, and you just said that, Lily, what are you willing to do? What are the things that are non-negotiable? And we know what those 4 bunnies are. And it's funny, people kind of get to bunny number 3.
Yep.
And that's where 90% of people kind of fall off the consistency. Water is important. Veggies are important. The scale is important. But a lot of people talk about eating healthy. And if we're not consistent about tracking it, then we really don't know. And I think that's where a lot of anxiety or shame pulls us back from consistency. And this is where I say to you, as someone who did suffer, tracking, it took me time to be okay or be comfortable with uncomfortable, putting stuff down, because the sooner you're putting things down on paper, there are times you decide, I'm just not going to eat it because it makes me uncomfortable to see it on my paper. And sometimes that consistency of just starting if Lily could tell you, my first trackers just said a big salad. And finally she's like, what the hell is in your salad? Like, what does that even mean? And then we're finding out I'm putting too much of something else and too much. Okay. Then you later on can break down, but baby steps in each department. Set yourself a benchmark in each of the 4 bunnies. Okay. I am going to make sure to have a consistent breakfast. So then at least I'm tracking my breakfast every day, or I'll have a consistent breakfast and I'm going to track my lunch every day. Let me at least make sure to get my lunch written down. Give yourself a small challenge in each of those 4 spaces. You will suddenly find that the uncomfortable is a little less uncomfortable, or at least you are okay sitting in that I'm getting used to it stage.
And I just want to clarify what Yoni just did so brilliantly, guys, is she took her consistency goals now that at this stage of her journey are her consistency goals. And she reminded all of you that when a long time ago now, when she was a challenger of mine and a client of mine, we started out with those were outcome goals, but we didn't call them that. We just called them benchmarks. Getting something in each area of the tracker every day was a benchmark. Getting 3 liters of water was a benchmark. Getting some sleep was a benchmark. Writing down how much sleep she was getting for a long time, if that's okay that I share, was a benchmark because it made her uncomfortable enough for long enough that then she wanted to change her sleep habits. And that's why Yoni is such a tremendous coach, and why her input here on these calls is so amazing, guys, because she, you know, she lived it, I lived it. When we're telling you these things, we're not telling you from this on high pedestal here. We're telling you from in the trenches with you that we still have to work on benchmark goals. And then when those things become consistency goals, they go on the consistency calendar. And in consistency, you may have healthy weight gain, healthy weight maintenance, healthy weight loss, but it's different. You don't be frustrated and shame yourself for not succeeding in an outcome goal when you didn't really set an outcome goal. If you didn't set a benchmark goal, don't be surprised that you're not hitting it. It's not a thing. If you want to have a specific benchmark, you have to plan for it, and you have to be honest and ask yourself, what am I willing to do to get there? And then only put down what you're really willing to do, because that's how you avoid feeling like a failure. But it should stretch you a teeny bit, right? A little bit of space for being uncomfortable, because otherwise you're not going to change. You guys, you are amazing. As good as this call was, like, your vulnerability, your sharing, your honesty here, one we're going to save and re-listen to. I feel like I want to re-listen to it, and try that breathing exercise. It's 2 minutes that helps you mentally get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I know we would all love your feedback in the Thrive group, in our WhatsApp groups about the call, how we can keep improving them and make them super valuable for you guys. Have a great night.